It's the umpteenth meeting of the Security Council on the ongoing war in Gaza, where warnings were sounded that the two-state solution was on life support, calls again for an immediate ceasefire, and the unconditional release of all hostages after 600 days in captivity. Warnings that the entire Palestinian population faced the risk of famine and an unsurprising loss of hope. Then came the heart-wrenching briefing by this trauma doctor based in Stockton, California. He has volunteered in conflict zones from Haiti to Ukraine to Gaza, where he spent a few weeks working at the European hospital in Khan Younis last year, and again at the Nasser Medical Complex earlier this year.
I did not see or treat a single combatant during my 5 weeks in Gaza. My patients were 6-year-olds with shrapnels in their heart and bullets in their brains, and pregnant women whose pelvises had been obliterated and their fetuses cut in two while still in the womb. Mothers sheltering in the hospital cooked bread on hot plates in the emergency department during mass casualty events, as we dealt with the rain of fire and death falling around us everywhere. Mr. President, the foundations of life in Gaza, family, health, and community, have been shattered. The medical system has not failed. It has been systematically dismantled through a sustained military campaign that has willfully violated international humanitarian law. Civilians are now dying not just from the constant airstrikes, but from acute malnutrition, sepsis, exposure, and despair.
He argued that the continuation of the war was a choice and urged the council to act with urgency to stop the carnage, warning that the protection of hospitals, of children, and healthcare workers had simply gone.
Today, the distinction between combatant and civilian is erased. Most of my patients were preteen children, their bodies shattered by explosives and torn by flying metal. Many died. Those who lived often awoke to find their entire families gone. Last year, I published in the New York Times a survey of 65 American healthcare workers who had served in Gaza. 83% of them reported seeing children shot in the head or the chest. I personally treated 13 such cases in my 2 weeks at European Hospital. According to the War Child Alliance, nearly half of Gaza's children are suicidal. They ask, why didn't I die with my sister, my mother, my father? Not out of extremism, but out of unbearable grief. I wonder if any member of this council has ever met a 5-year-old child who no longer wants to live, let alone imagined a society in which so many young children feel this way. And what astonishes me is not that some children in Gaza have lost the will to live, but that any still cling to hope.
Gaza has long been described by senior UN officials as a hell on earth, particularly for children caught up in this conflict, as this physician called on the council to prevent genocide.
I am here because I have witnessed what is happening in Gaza with my own eyes, especially to children, and I cannot pretend not to have seen it. You too cannot claim ignorance. I urge the council, and especially my own government, to act with urgency on these enforceable measures. 1. Demand an immediate and permanent ceasefire, including a halt to all arms transfers to all parties to the conflict, alongside targeted and lawful sanctions on Israel. 2. Demand the reopening of all of Gaza's crossings and guarantee unrestricted medical evacuations, including to hospitals in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, where Palestinian patients can be treated by Palestinian doctors, with safe return to Gaza assured. 3. Guarantee sustained humanitarian access throughout Gaza, allowing all essential supplies, shelter, food, water, fuel, and medical supplies to reach all people in need.
His views echoed in this sentiment, expressed by the UN Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process.
Civilians in Gaza have lost hope, Mr. President. Instead of saying goodbye, see you tomorrow, Palestinians now say, see you in heaven. Death is their companion. It's not life. It is not hope. Palestinians in Gaza deserve more than survival. They deserve a viable and vibrant future.
600 days of war, of suffering for the Israeli hostages and their families, and the 2 million Palestinians trapped in this killing field. Next month, here at the UN, the General Assembly will convene a high-level conference to reinvigorate a pathway to the two-state solution. The long unfulfilled goal of Israelis and Palestinians living side by side in their own sovereign independent states in peace, security and dignity. Lofty goals that will hinge on the willingness of the parties and their backers caught up in this generational conflict. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.